Introducing the all-new Italiano range of pizza. Pizza Ultimo. Pizza Hut.
Well, the number of fishermen who died due to the inclement weather conditions experienced last Friday has increased to 42. The heavy showers and strong winds claimed the lives of 9 fishermen in the Colombo area, while 23 fishermen died in Galle. 9 fishermen died in Kaltara, while a fisherman was reported dead from the Nicambo area as well. The number of fishermen who have been reported missing stands at 20. On Primetime News last night, News First reported that the number of deaths were 27 and the number of missing fishermen was 29. However, as of today, the death toll has risen to 42. Now, according to the Minister of Fisheries, 22 fishermen had sustained injuries in various accidents, while 43 fishing vessels are yet to be recovered. An incident that wreaked havoc to such an extent has never been reported in the country's history. The last major tragedy to befall the fishing community occurred on the 26th of November 2011, when over 20 lives were lost. However, this extent of damage and loss of life has not been reported in Sri Lanka in the recent past.
The bodies of fishermen who died at sea due to the inclement weather have been washing ashore in various locations.
The most number of casualties have been reported from Balapitiya and its surrounding areas, as well as the Beruala and Dehiwala areas. A majority of the fishermen that set out to sea last Friday had to face treacherous weather conditions. Fishermen and their relatives charged that the main cause for this was the lack of a prior warning about the weather. The remains of 2 fishermen who set out to sea from the Balapitiya Fisheries Harbour had washed ashore in Balapitiya today. Our correspondent said that the remains, which were beyond recognition, were taken to the Balapitiya Base Hospital. The remains of another fisherman who had set out to sea with the 2 victims and 2 other fishermen were brought ashore today on a boat. This was with the assistance of area residents. Two bodies washed ashore in Randombe Beach in Ambalangoda today. According to our correspondent, the remains are yet to be identified. The body of a fisherman suspected to be a resident of Brahmanavatta washed ashore in Mohottivatta in Balapitiya. These visuals were captured by our correspondent in the Maggona beach in Kalutara. The deceased has been identified as Kahavithana Arachilage Don Janaka Priyanta, a 35-year-old resident of Divalagoda in Maggona and a father of 3. 2 bodies washed ashore at the Bambalapitiya beach today. The victims have been identified as fishermen from Dehiwala and Koralavella in Moratua. Meanwhile, the relatives of Neil De Silva, a fisherman from the Brahmanavatta area in Bambalapitiya, state that he remains missing. Neil is a 52-year-old father of 2.
The final rites for several fishermen who were victims of the inclement weather conditions prevalent in the island were held today.
The final rites of Bonti Fernando and Tilakopatissa, who were residents of Auburnside in Dehiwala, were held today. The bodies of the 2 fishermen were taken to the public cemetery in Mount Ravinia following religious observances.
අපේ ලංකාවේ ලංකාවේ දකුණු පළාත්වල මේ වගේ ශෝකයේ කනගාටුවට ඇති වෙන දුක් පුවත් අසන්න ලැබුණා. සූරං පරිපූර්ණති සාගරං.
Rohan Fernando, who was another resident of Auburnside, also lost his life to the heavy rains and strong winds experienced in the island. Our correspondent in the area noted that the final rites were observed after the remains were brought to a public cemetery from the hospital. The final rites of 60-year-old J.R. Anza were performed in Maggona today. A resident of Navalapitiya and a fisherman by profession, Anza had set out to sea from his sister's house in Maggona. The final rites of 48-year-old Nilensi Kumara De Silva was held in Balapitiya today. The victim was a father of 5. The remains of Sumanasena De Silva, who was another victim of the inclement weather conditions, is currently lying at his house in Mohottivatta, Balapitiya. Sumanasena, who was 49 years old at the time of his demise, was a father of 6. Meanwhile, the remains of 43-year-old U. Nishanta have been placed at his residence in Migettuvatta, Balapitiya. Nishanta was a father of 3. Sumit Vasanta Silva, who was a resident of the Modaravatta area, also lost his life in the recent monsoon rains. 59-year-old Ranmuthu Vimalasiri, an unmarried fisherman, was another victim of the inclement weather. The remains of Anura Lakshman Fernando are currently lying at his residence down Maradane Road in Beruwala. The 48-year-old was a father of two. Our correspondent in the area noted that the coffin had been sealed.